What's going on, guys? I'm Bobby, and I'm here today to recap the entire month of July. I'm going to be talking about the best and the worst teams and players from the past month in Major League Baseball. So I'm going to be going over the best and the worst players of this month, also the best and worst teams, and also some players that us baseball fans have definitely slept on in the past month. But before we get into it, if you guys plan on going to a game, concert, or any other event this summer, make sure to buy your tickets from SeatGeek, the best and easiest way to buy tickets. And if you use code ATD at checkout, you get to save $20 off your first purchase. It's code ATD, save $20. We're going to start off with the positives from July. And one team that completely dominated this past month was the Los Angeles Dodgers. On June 30th, the Dodgers only held a 2.5 game lead over the Padres in the NL West. And sitting here now on August 1st, the Dodgers have a 12 game lead over the Padres in the division. The Dodgers had the most wins in baseball in July. They went 21-5 last month and had the best run differential in baseball with a plus 64. Completely dominated this month. All year we've been waiting for the Dodgers to have that really dominant month, and that's exactly what they did in July. Only losing 5 games, ridiculous month for the Dodgers. The Astros had the most wins in the American League in July. They went 19-9, still very impressive, but 21-5 is just absurd. The New York Yankees hit 50 home runs last month, which was the most in Major League Baseball, 7 more than the next best team. About half those home runs were probably Aaron Judge, but we'll get into that later. To go along with those 50 home runs the Yankees hit in July, they also scored the most runs in Major League Baseball last month with 167. Cleveland Guardians and the Toronto Blue Jays were tied for first in one of these categories. Can you guess which one it was? Hits, walks, or on-base percentage? And whoever guessed hits, you're right. The Guardians and the Blue Jays led Major League Baseball in most hits last month with 259. The Blue Jays also had the highest team batting average in July, batting .288 as a team. Now, enough with the team hitting stats, let's go into the team pitching stat leaders from last month. Can you guys guess who had the lowest team ERA in the month of July? Do you guys think it was the Mets, Braves, or Dodgers? Whoever said the Braves? You're wrong. It was actually the Mets. The Mets put up an impressive 2.48 team ERA last month, and that's without Jacob deGrom, and he's coming back this week. It's really exciting news for Mets fans. The team that struck out the most batters last month was the Houston Astros. They struck out 282 batters last month, which was 23 better than the second best team, the New York Mets. The team that allowed the least amount of home runs last month was, you definitely didn't guess it, the San Francisco Giants. They only allowed 18 home runs in 28 games last month. Really impressive. Alright, I'm going to be done talking about the teams that did well last month. Now I'm going to be talking about teams that did not so well last month. Sorry, Red Sox fans. Now, of course, I'm just picking on the Red Sox because I'm a Yankee fan and that's what I do. But the Red Sox were definitely not the only team to have a rough month. The Red Sox actually had the third lowest winning percentage in July. The Nationals and Angels were worse than them. The Nationals went 6-19, while the Angels went 6-18, and the Red Sox went 8-19. So hey, Red Sox fans, you guys weren't the worst team in the majors last month, so at least you guys have that. I'm just gonna get this out of the way. The Red Sox allowed the most runs in baseball last month, giving up 181 runs over 27 games. Yes, given the most runs allowed, the Red Sox were bound to have the worst team ERA in the month of July with a 6.30 ERA as a team last month. Yikes. Now over to the offensive side, the team with the fewest runs scored last month was the Los Angeles Angels. They only scored 71 runs in 24 games. Not very good. The Angels also had the lowest team batting average. Under the Mendoza line, they batted 199 as a team in the entire month of July. Almost impossible to do. The Angels also had the lowest number of hits, the lowest number of extra base hits, the lowest team slugging percentage, and the lowest team OPS last month. So it's safe to say that the Angels offense struggled just a little bit last month. Alright, now let's transition and talk about the best and the worst players from the month of July. I'm going to go back and talk about the best players from the month because I'm tired of talking about this negative stuff. We're going to dive into position players and pitchers, but first we're going to talk about some position players. The player with the most home runs in the month of July, to no one's surprise, Aaron Judge put up a ridiculous 13 home runs last month. Yes, of course I had to mention the one stat that Judge led in, because now we're about to talk about this other player who was my player of the month, Austin Reilly. I don't think there's a question that Austin Reilly was the player of the month for July in Major League Baseball. Austin Reilly batted .423, matched 11 home runs, and had 44 hits in 26 games last month. Absurd numbers. Austin Reilly also had 26 extra base hits last month, which was 8 more than the second best, which was, of course, Aaron Judge. Alright, now let's transition into some pitchers who dominated last month. First up, from the San Francisco Giants, or by the time you're watching this, maybe he got traded by now, Carlos Rodone. He struck out 53 batters in 37 innings last month, and definitely bumped up his price tag a little bit for teams that wanted to trade for him. Sticking with the strikeouts, Shohei Ohtani had a ridiculous 15.63 Ks per 9 in July. Also, a quick shout out to Mets closer Edwin Diaz, who has been on an absolute tear, one of the best relievers in baseball this season. He had 19.85 Ks per 9 in the month of July. I mean, those numbers are unheard of. Shout out to the biggest snub from the All-Star game this year, Dylan Cease of the Chicago White Sox. He had a 0.76 ERA in 35 2/3 innings last month. Ridiculous. Dylan Cease saw all those pitchers in the All-Star game and he said, "I don't need you guys to tell me I'm an All-Star. I know I'm an All-Star." And then he went out and put up these ridiculous numbers this month. I love it. Shout out to Cole Irvin of the Oakland A's, who had a 0.65 whip over 34 innings in July. I mean, you can't get much better than that. He only allowed 19 hits and only walked 3 guys all month. So, you know what? That's pretty impressive. Shout out to you, Cole. Now, I hate to do it, but it's time to talk about the players who had not so great months in July. I hate to do it. I hate to bring up the bad players, but no, it's part of the job. Jared Walsh of the Angels struggled this month. He only had 11 hits in 80 at-bats, which is a 138 average, and he had a 358 OPS. Not on base, not just slugging percentage, but OPS. Not good. Wilson Contreras, catcher for the Cubs, or maybe when you're watching this, he's on a different team. He had a rough month in July, and part of me thinks this was all part of a plan for him to not get traded from Chicago. I'm sure you guys saw the video of Contreras getting emotional when he possibly played his last game at Wrigley Field as a Cub. So I think him not performing well in July was kind of part of this plan, like showing like, hey, I'm not good anymore, don't trade for me, I'm gonna stay as a Cub and, you know, I'm gonna be happy. Or he just had a rough month and, you know. But I'm going to go with my story. Alright, now we're going back to the pitchers. And the pitcher that allowed the most runs in the month of July from the Boston Red Sox, Nick Pivetta. Pivetta allowed 25 runs in the month of July in just 24 innings pitched. Not exactly great, but what are you going to do? Don't look back, look forward, bounce back in August. Josiah Gray of the Washington Nationals allowed the most home runs in July, giving up 9 long balls in 26 2/3 innings. Patrick Corbin and Marco Gonzalez were tied for the most hits allowed in July. Corbin's 40 hits allowed were a little worse, or definitely a lot worse, than Gonzalez's hits allowed. Corbin did it in 23 2/3 innings, while Gonzalez did his in 31 1/3 innings. Before I wrap this video up, I just want to give a quick shout out to 2 players that I haven't mentioned yet for their ridiculous performances in July that I don't want to go unnoticed. First up, Diamondbacks starting pitcher Merrill Kelly had an outstanding July. Merrill Kelly went 4-0 with a 1.31 ERA and had a .77 whip in 41 1/3 innings. And then the next guy, Alec Bowm, hit .434 with a 1.088 OPS and 33 hits in 20 games in July. Both of these guys had outstanding months, and I wouldn't feel right making this video without mentioning them. Hope you guys liked the video. It was the first time doing this. I know it was definitely way late into the season to do this, but you know what? Better late than never, right? So I'll definitely be doing this on September 1st for the August stat leaders and August awards as well. Make sure to subscribe to our channel and also follow us on our other social media platforms, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, all in the description of this video. Thanks guys, and I'll see you all soon. Peace.